All right, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. At least we have a lovely, sunny, yet freezing afternoon here in Brno. My name is Martin Glogar, and I have the privilege to start this session that will cover various study opportunities at Masaryk University. One very practical point at the very beginning. If you have a question, please shoot it at us right now or throughout the conversation we have. We will address the questions at the end of this at the Q&A session. When we were deciding to run this session, our aim was to present sort of commercial programs, the short ones, the summer schools, as well as the semester-long study abroad we have here at Masaryk. But basically, our main goal is to share how cool the study programs at Masaryk are. So the session will be useful for anyone who considers Masaryk University as a destination, even if somebody wants to come for a few weeks in summer, for semester, or for a full year on Erasmus or any other study abroad, study exchange. As I said, my name is Martin Glogar. My main responsibility is to run summer schools, but I've got 3 other speakers with me today. I've got my colleague Sharka Panochova, who is responsible for semester-long programs. I have Professor Michael Alofsky, who is one of our faculty, one of our teachers, and also I have Dr. Richard Tulčáni with me today, who is another teacher. Masaryk University is located in Brno, which is the 2nd largest city of the Czech Republic. And interestingly, none of us 4 is a native of Brno. So what is so unique about Brno that made us leave our hometowns? Michael, I'll start with you. You are from the US, right? So what did you make to cross the Atlantic?
Well, hello, everybody. I was formerly a professor tenured at Penn State University in Pennsylvania, America. After achieving what I thought was my most desired goal, I actually realized that I was more invested in international education. So with my wife and with my family in tow, we decided to come to Brno and set up shop. Basically, I work at the Faculty of Social Sciences in the Department of Media and Journalism. And on the side, I've also helped with Martin and the group here to develop a program called the Checkmates program, which involves sort of mentored study abroad options beyond some of the options we have already, and perhaps most importantly, internships. And I'll be happy to talk about that a little bit later after we've had a chance to give you more of an overview.
Thank you, Michael. Ricky, you come from Far East, right? Not to talk about your specialization in Chinese foreign policy, but you come from Eastern Slovakia and have a Slovak-Hungarian heritage. So again, what made you move to Brno?
So to be perfectly frank, I never wanted to leave my wonderful city of Košice, and I just planned to come to Brno for a trip, for a weekend, to attend the university entrance exam. But the thing was that actually the trip was really great, and Brno kind of attracted me with its student spirit. University, I mean, Brno is a university city, and that was 15 years ago. So I've been in Brno for about 15 years, and I can tell that the city changed a lot. It is still university city and the student city, but I mean, maybe for our international audience to imagine, you know, what it is now like. Some people call it's a Czech Berlin. You know, it's very vibrant, cultural, and a hipster city, and so on. Some people call it Silicon Valley of Central Europe. So. I mean, many people work in IT there. There are a lot of young professionals, a lot of companies, and so on. And I mean, Brno is changing, and it's now almost, I would say, a cosmopolitan city, which was certainly not 15 years ago when it was really kind of a post-communist city. So yeah, that's about that. So Brno is a wonderful place.
Thank you, Ricky. Sharka, now to you. You come from Southern Bohemia, so probably it's closer to Munich than to Brno, right? From where you come from. But I know you also studied in Denmark, you studied in the US, but then you actually chose to study at Massachusetts University. Why did you choose this institution?
So I came to Brno actually 10 years ago, and I think what attracted me first was at the open day at university, I could see how the department where I was about to study, where I wanted to study, was really modern, and they kind of approached the field in the very modern, I would say, like Anglo-Saxon Western way, in terms of lots of discussions in class, lots of sort of interdisciplinary approach, and that's what I was looking for, and that's what attracted me to the department. But then I have to say, I fell in love with the city as well. And it's, as Ricky said, it has changed incredibly. And definitely 10 years ago, it wasn't what it is now. But I think, first of all, Brno for me is, because it's smaller than big cities, it's not Prague, it's not Vienna, it kind of has this feel of very, like, you know the people that you meet, you still meet the same people, but there's also always stuff to do. There's not many tourists, but there's a lot of international people. So I think that element of Brno was a massively important for me.
Thank you, Sharka.
So, Martin, may I add something real quick? One of the things that I think needs to be underscored is it's not just us who love the city, but it's actually been noted for all the reasons that our people here have said. In 2016, the city was chosen by the New York Times as one of the top 50 cities to visit, precisely because of these issues: food culture, student culture, cosmopolitan sensibility, small town feel. It's something I can certainly attest to.
Yeah,
great. So obviously, if you want to also choose this path and come to visit Brno, there are multiple ways how to do it. And it depends obviously on your goals as a student. So for instance, our summer schools offer shorter, more intensive experiences and have specific themes. If you want to come for a semester or year-long program, you can choose from theme semesters such as Central European Studies or Sports Studies, or you can enroll as a visiting student and choose from hundreds of classes available to international students across the university. And if your university has an Erasmus or exchange agreement, you can also find out from your university how you can come here through these agreements. I mean, my advice is just start with your study abroad or international office. Go and consult your study advisors. They will give you hints. They will check what is feasible and so on. And maybe let's get more in detail about the options we have here, right? So Sharka, you are primarily responsible for the semester-long programs. Can you just tell us what is so unique about them?
Right, yeah, definitely. So as Martin said, I take care of semester-long programs, not exchanges per se, but I take care of specific themed semester-long programs, such as Martin mentioned, the Central European Studies program, or the sports program. And I think what's unique about them is that they go deeper. So if you want to get a new perspective in the specific field that you're interested in, that you study, if you want to widen your knowledge, this is definitely something you can do. For a semester, just focus on these classes that we offer in these different programs, and you just widen your knowledge, but you also get a different perspective because you get the perspective of the teachers who are here, but also of the Central European perspective on your field. Yeah.
Yeah, and are there any kind of services or support that is provided to students? Something you could talk about?
Yeah, for sure. So apart from the administrative support that we provide as the international office, there's definitely lots of cultural and social support because we cooperate with the student club that's part of the Erasmus Student Network, and they organize many various activities during the semester for international students. So these activities could be country presentations. There are also trips to Brno surroundings, but also to the big cities that are close to here, actually, like Vienna, Budapest, Prague, Bratislava, but also Krakow. So they offer these kinds of trips as well. And what's good is also that you'll meet people who are local. You'll meet local students as well as many internationals. So that's, I think, a wonderful cultural aspect of that.
Yeah, just to attest to what Sharka was talking about, Vienna is really just about 100 kilometers away. Prague is 200 kilometers away. Budapest, Krakow, and Wrocław are about 350 kilometers away. So we are really, some people say Brno is the most Central European city. Well, and actually this is something we try to take advantage of in the summer schools, because they basically are designed in a way to screen in as much as possible in a relatively short time. Obviously, coming for a full semester, you get a much wider immersion into the local culture. But in the summer schools are organized in very structured way so that everybody receives excellent academic program, but also learns about Central Europe. And we also try to make sure that everybody has a great time and can explore all these wonderful opportunities Brno provide. So for instance, in basically every week in our summer programs, there is usually a 3-day trip every week. And when we go on these trips, we go to the cities we mentioned earlier, Vienna, Budapest, Krakow, Prague, and so on. And the first day is dedicated to visit to a relevant institution. So we might visit United Nations headquarters in Vienna, or visit Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Prague, or we can have a presentation at the headquarters of OPEC in Vienna. Something relevant to what the course is about. On the second day, you would have a tour of the city, and you would try to kind of bring the culture of that given city to students. And then the third day, the students are able to basically explore on their own. But we also talk about this immersion with the local students. And it's of course much more difficult to do it throughout 2-3 weeks when somebody is in Brno. So we've actually designed, I think, quite a good system. We call it student assistants. We have local students who would basically spend time with the students on summer school and be the bridge both to the program organizers, but also to the local culture. And Sharka, I know that in your previous life, you were also acting as a student assistant. Can you explain maybe more in detail how this is structured, how this is done?
Right. So the student assistant sort of helps students from abroad feel at ease and feel comfortable and connect with the local culture, because as Martin said, it's a very short period of time and you don't have much time outside of class to really explore on your own too much. And so the Czech student assistant is like a connecting device. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that students know how to get places. So we help them get around town, get to school, figure out accommodation, but we also take them abroad and we support them on these trips. So we make sure, again, that they're safe and they're in the bus or in the accommodation, or make sure they know where to go. But also there's a fun aspect of taking them out, taking them to museums, cafes, showing them the local culture, showing them great foods, great restaurants, explaining what knedlíky is and everything else. So I think that's our job. But I know that Ricky did that too. Ricky, do you want to add something, some fun stories or anything?
Well, I have fun stories, but maybe we can save it for another time. But what I want to add is that we, as a teacher, I want to incorporate this experience from walking in the city, visiting the UN, or even like Brno cafe culture or Vienna cafe culture, or I don't know. In Budapest is famous for its ruin bars, and there are a lot of similar features which you see around in city, which vast majority of people don't know about, even locals. And then what I think all the teachers, including myself, try to do is that we point out these things during the class, and then of course we ask, for instance, after the trips. So I think that's kind of the contribution, that we don't treat this separately as kind of the class is the boring teaching part, and then the trips are the cool fun part. I think we kind of treat it all together as one learning experience.
Yeah, if I may add, I actually was thinking this is similar in the semestral programs too. What's different is that we the teachers, or we don't organize the trips. Trips are up to the students club. But what the teachers are trying to do is, again, use Brno's strategic position in Europe, but also its history and culture, to sort of bring the class outside, or bring the outside into the class, and help students connect what they're learning with what really is here. So we're just a stone's throw away from Austerlitz. So if you're studying history, this is something you can visit. We've got lots of communist history in Brno, so students, again, studying that aspect of history, can visit like the former communist prison or the bunker. There's also, you can visit the ombudsman because they're right here, or the Supreme Court if you're studying law. If you think about music, Janáček, the great musician, lived here in Brno and created his music here. So there's so much of the history and culture here in Brno that can connect to the classes, even during the semestral programs.
Yep. Well, Michael, can you also elaborate more on how you kind of try to build your curriculum? Maybe what is the difference between teaching throughout the semester and in summer?
Absolutely. So during the semester, I teach a couple of courses, and as I've said earlier, there's a Checkmates program. It's a small boutique study abroad program that's incorporated in some of the courses I teach. When I work with those students who are in that program, or any students who are studying abroad, it's absolutely essential to me to try and get them to understand how their experience is here, the challenges here, because Brno will challenge you in ways that other perhaps study abroad programs that are a little bit more directed, I should say, won't. Case in point, you will encounter people who don't speak English. But to the point of the question, the key for me is to allow them to take those challenges and utilize those challenges and the experience overall as a way of learning more about themselves, personally and professionally. Who do they want to be? Who are they becoming through this experience? And most importantly, as they think about going back, who are they now? What has this experience taught him or taught them? The place itself offers greater immersion, so that you're not basically running around a tourist city. You have the opportunity, as my colleagues have said, to really engage the locals. And in my classes, you will, because more than half of the students are there. We do dialogues during the semester where we are engaged very much with the local people, working across, and again, with so many students coming from all over, it's truly, truly an international classroom. And the goal for us, as I said, I teach international communications, is to take students who are coming from any field in a course like globalization, which is the summer course as well, and really give them a holistic understanding of where their major, their identity, and their sense of purpose in this world and their understanding of it is moving forward in cooperation with the people they engage, including me. And like Ricky said, I'm also committed to the idea that the learning doesn't come through only a textbook or a class or a teacher, it's holistic. And I'm passionate, just like my colleagues here, to talk about the ways in which we all work together as a team, we get together to foment these goals, and I'm really proud of the successes that we've been able to achieve. I think our summer program has grown exponentially. The offerings are quite wide, so I encourage you to check them out. But we are a group that works together to create an experience that doesn't isolate you in a silo, but puts you together in a cohesive unit, along with an extended group, along with Central European context. So it really ends up being, I think, a unique experience. When I teach in the summer, of course, it's much more intense. I enjoy it more in some sense because we can do almost 24/7 learning. We're in the classroom doing our traditional things. As Ricky said, we're out working together, using site visits and using cultural visits and using downtime, coffee chats, all as a means of keeping the ideas alive, because I think all of us believe that when you leave this class, we want the students to go back and not just say, wow, that was a great experience, but we want them to be passionate about learning, take their learning into a new way, to break the mold so that they go forward and say, that's how not only do I want to learn further, but these are the curiosity and the questions that I want to take into wherever I'm going down the road in my personal and professional life. It's quick, it's intense. If you stay with us over the summer for the internships, it's a little bit longer, but most students also feel that's quite intense. The key being, they come, they dive in, we all give it our all. And at the time when we leave, we're all sad to leave, but I really feel like we've accomplished something in all the years that we've done it.
Thank you, Michael. Ricky, do you want to say something?
Yeah, maybe I would just follow up on what Michael was saying. So I've been involved in teaching summer courses, but also the semester courses. And maybe for students, it would be kind of interesting to know, I mean, what are the pros and cons? And I think you kind of get a different taste in each, but I wouldn't say that one is better than the other. I mean, Brno looks, I would say, quite different during summer than during semesters, obviously because about 1/5 of the city are kind of local students. And these students, many of them are not here during summer, but then a lot of international students come from for the summer, and then there's kind of different vibe. As Michael said, summer is very intensive. It's almost 24/7 learning. There is a lot going on. But then also during semester, you might say you get more kind of authentic image of what kind of regular local students get. I mean, also in terms of, different sort of cultural events or like festivals, music festivals, concerts, and so on. So I think each has something different to offer. So I don't think that, anyone should be kind of sad that maybe it doesn't work for you in summer or it doesn't work for you during the semester. And maybe I want to say one more thing, that I think in our courses, of course, we use Central European kind of region as kind of, to show you empirical stuff or something. And we get a lot of students who kind of want to focus on this region. But our goal is not, only to welcome here students who kind of, think about becoming professionals in terms of Central Europe. But also, as Michael mentioned, being here or being in Central Europe shows you different perspectives about how things work in different parts of the world. And also you learn how to look at maybe your home situation differently. So I think that's really something we try to do for instance, in the summer schools, which I'm coordinating, about international security or kind of policy transformation processes. The point is not that students become experts in, Czech perspective, but that they kind of learn something from this Central European perspective, and they may go back to Asia or America or Australia and use it for their own purposes.
Yeah, and I would also add that things we do throughout summer or even throughout the semester, such as visits to Auschwitz, it's not just for students who study human rights or who study history. I think this is relevant, maybe even more relevant for people who do business or people who do science. Maybe on that point, we can have a look at the screen to get the list of different semester and short-term programs we have. Obviously, this is not that detailed, but so I would encourage you to visit our website. You might be able to, I think it's there, or it will be eventually there. The website to our office, and maybe it's also again, I would like to encourage you to ask questions. But before we get to Q&A, I really want to stress that you should really, anybody who's interested in coming to Masaryk should check with their home university coordinators about the deadlines, the processes, and also making sure that he or she will be able to transfer the credits. It's actually not just the summer schools or semester-long programs. We also run 2 winter schools in January and February this year or next year, and we still have few places available. One of the courses is on human rights and international law. Another course is international security. So again, if you are considering to get a better taste of Czech academic culture, that would be probably a good way to start. You will find more information about the programs on our website. Now, do we have any questions that we can address? Okay, so we've got from our colleague, we've got a question here. How do we organize accommodation? Sharka, would you be kind enough and address this question?
I'll try, and you can then maybe fill up gaps. For semester-long programs, you would talk to your advisors, or you would talk to our colleagues at the international office. Once they start sending you information about learning agreements, they will send you also accommodation information. So you will get all the information you need, and just sign up based on how they tell you to sign up. So it's nothing you have to worry about, and you have the option of staying at one of the student residences in Brno. It's usually 2 students per room. Some residences share the kitchenette on the floor, like with the whole floor, and some rooms have the kitchenette inbuilt in them. So it depends on what room you get or you choose. For summer programs, we have some of the same accommodation. We use some of the residences, but then also it depends on the program. For some programs, we choose different hostels or hotels in Brno, but also on the trips, you would stay with the whole group in a hostel or a hotel in that specific city where you go. And all of that accommodation is it depends. It's part of the package, and the summer school managers will talk to you about what they need to know. So you will always get information from us, from either of my colleagues, and you don't have to worry about the organization aspect per se.
Okay, whether there is any vegan or vegetarian options in Brno? I think that's a good question. 10 years ago, I think people struggled to find a decent vegan or non-meat option, but I think in recent years things improved. Michael, do you want to maybe explain or address it?
I can address that, I think, directly. On my program, I've had a number of students who are either vegan or vegetarian, and they came partially because they were curious to see if the New York Times suggestion that this was a foodie culture town was true. And I can tell you unequivocally, that it was. They did tremendous work in scouring the various areas, and they had tremendous things to say about what offerings were here across the spectrum of all sorts of food from everywhere. I was blessed enough to have them actually take me to some of these finds that were out in the middle of the city and also on the outskirts. And it was for them very easy, not only to find restaurants, but more importantly, to find grocery stores that similarly had a strong accommodation for their dietary needs. No problems whatsoever with that.
Okay, we've got a question from Edgewood College. Thank you for this. What is the city experience? Well, I think, this is Czech Republic was at some point was the worst hit by COVID. At the moment, things are getting normal. As you can see, I'm sitting in my office, and it's a great experience to be back at my desk. And things are improving, but obviously, we are still hoping for the vaccination to be available and make us live a normal life again, if that will be ever normal. But we are running our winter schools online, as I said, in January, February. Also, the spring semester probably will be still online, but we are doing everything we can so that we can have our summer sessions June, July in person.
I can also add that as somebody who has kids in grade school and high school, my daughter 2 weeks ago went back to grade school. Next week, my kids who are in high school are going back. And so we are optimistic, cautiously. We are clearly, like everyone else, doing everything that's necessary. And I think I can say that I've been very impressed with the ways in which, when they've called a lockdown, we've been able to mobilize it in ways that have been very effective for turning the corner and flattening the curve and getting us back. Of course, we don't know where that's going to mean, but I feel like there's all the things on our side are being done so that we're preparing for the fact that with the vaccine, with the transition as we move forward across the next couple of months, that we will be on the ground and running as normal as possible, probably with face masks, but still as normal as possible this summer. And we are very much looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, when to really realistically expect to be back on site, I think it would be probably in summer only. The administration of the university is still planning to run the spring semester primarily online, primarily virtually. Yeah, there is a question about.
I'd just say summer, and then further on, hopefully with the autumn. But we don't know yet. As Martin said, we're hoping for summer and then for autumn and onwards.
Yeah. So there is a question about the cost for the summer school. Actually, there are different summer schools. There are summer schools organized by our office and some organized by other units at the university. There are differences. There are differences also in not just in content but also in structure, in number of field trips, excursions that we do. There are programs that we visit 4 or 5 different cities. And of course, the cost is much higher. The good thing is that we always provide discount to students coming from partner universities. So there are programs that, with the full tuition, with the housing, with the very rich culture program, with free field trips to the metropolises in the region, the program can come for about 1,200 euros. Some are more expensive, but I would say students coming from partner universities, they can get a very good experience from that price on. Yeah, I think this might be. Yeah, there's a question from Myanmar. Thank you. No, there is no age limit. We actually had students who were already in their 60s. I think the oldest student we had was like actually over 70. And at first I was a bit scared about having, let's say, mature student going with the college students on a bus and staying in hostels in Budapest and so on. And in the end, you know, it went very well. It went very smooth, and everybody, actually, the guy's name was John. He was a great asset to everything, both to the academic discussion in the class as well as to having fun in the evenings in pubs. So yeah, there is no age limit, obviously, and you can find the details about the courses such as tuition and so on at our website. The website is czs.munic.cz/summer. I think, all right, another question. Internships. Michael, this is yours.
So thank you for asking. The internships are done both in the semester and during the summer. During the semester, they are done for credit. And this is where I take personal initiative and mentor the students. If you go to the website www.checkmates.org, you can see a list. We have a range of offerings from multinationals like IBM on down to local NGOs doing work regionally with environment and sustainability and all sorts of things. What I pride myself on is that we do have a long list of partners, but most importantly, it's a boutique program. So we only take 10 interns and we put them inside institutions where they are really given a really professional experience. They are asked to do a lot more based upon what I've seen than what my students at Penn State were being asked to do. There is a lot of growth, and I'm supporting them and mentoring them along the way. The internships in the summer, if they are done with the course that I teach on globalization, we start as the course is wrapping up. It gives the chance for the students to get settled in, and then they work across the summer. Both semester and summer programs are 200 hours of contact hours. We do all we can to make sure the students are in the offices, working, getting to know the culture, getting to know the corporate culture or the organizational culture. And I have a syllabus that I work with them on. Each week we meet, we talk informally, everything from what are their deliverables, what are their projects, how are they managing their time, how are they handling cultural differences, all the things that I think really enhance their understanding of their professional goals and their professional future sort of learning. For me, it's a big part of what I do, which is to give them a little bit extra so that they feel more at home, because we're asking a lot of them. They are not generally in internships where they are a part of 15 interns that are all from the same place. They might have interns from different places in terms of different countries, but most of them oftentimes are the only individual who's in there. And so the work is real. The outcomes are real. They're challenging. They're exciting. They're fun. They ask a lot of the students, and the students get a lot out of them. So again, if you're interested to see more, you can go to the website www.checkmates.org, and you can see contact information for me as well. I'd be happy to answer any questions in more detail. And we have a whole list of students who have done internships with us who can give testimonials as well. And you'll see some of them on that website. So the internships, again, during the semester are full 15 weeks, and they take them as if they were a course and putting in 200 hours. Over the summer, they are often done the same way with 200 hours spread out a little bit more because they don't have other obligations in relationship to the summertime. So that it gives them an opportunity, as we said earlier, to travel and get more of the immersive experience beyond just an internship intense experience.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Sharka. Thanks also to Ricky, who had to leave for another meeting. And obviously, thank to the audience for joining us today. I would like to also mention that there is another live stream that will take place in the next 10 days to learn about the full degree programs. So thank you again, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.